Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you guys how to hand letter, brush letter, and do calligraphy. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what type of markers you want to use. So there are a bunch of choices and it depends what type of calligraphy you want to do. So if you want to do more of a brush lettering, you might want a Tombow dual brush pen. Their brushes are way bigger compared to the Tombow Funonosuke. As you can see, these ones are super tiny, but this one has more control, and this one's for wider brushes. So if you want to do brush lettering, use this one. If you want to do calligraphy, use this one. Calligraphy is more like cursive, I'd say, and brush lettering is more modern type of calligraphy. So I like these ones for like smaller brush lettering and calligraphy. The Tombow Funonosukes have two different sizes. They have the hard tip. They also have a soft tip. As you can see, this is sort of tinted blue. They also have a tinted green one, which is the soft tip, and I'll show you guys the differences later. If you don't have a brush pen or a calligraphy pen, you can use a chisel type of marker. I have a mild liner. Or if you want to do calligraphy with just a fine point marker, I'll show you guys how to do that later. Copic Multiliners also have some. They have a brush medium and a brush small. I got this in the B2 pack, and I'll link the items in the description. And Faber-Castell. So Faber-Castell have different sizes. They have calligraphy pens. They have brush pens, different brush sizes, but this one is the most common type of Faber-Castell pen. The largest set they come in is a set of 60, and this one is the black one. I really like this one because this is sort of in between the Funonosuke and the Tombow dual brush pens, and these two are the same brand, except these ones are made in Japan, I think, and these ones are made in the US. So these ones are like small, but you can also make really thick lines with these. And then you can also use a Pigma Micron. This one's a graphic one, which means they have like thicker ones. They also sell the brush types for brush lettering. This one is a graphic one, so obviously the brushes are thicker, but since I want to show you guys how to calligraphy with a fine tip, I'm going to use a Pigma graphic. And then this one I like, my friend got it for me from Taiwan. This one is sort of like the brush medium one, except that I think the ink is darker for this one and it flows better. But I also like this one. This one, the ink is almost run out. But I like how you can see the ink. So the second thing we're going to talk about are the brush lettering basics. So if you guys just want to know how to brush letter for each letter, you guys can skip on. But right now I'm going to talk about the basics. So I'm going to use a Tombow dual brush pen because these are super common and a lot of people have them. Tombow dual brush pens aren't just for brush lettering. You can use them for a lot of illustrations, stuff like that. They have a blender so you can blend colors together, which is great. So the basics are, when you go down, it's a thick line, and when you go up, it's thin. So if you're kind of confused about how to make lines, you can just go thick down and thin up. As you can see, that's a Tombow dual brush pen. I'm going to start swatching all of them. And this one is the one I got from Taiwan. As you can see, the ink is much, much darker for the Tombow, or for the one from Taiwan. As you can see, maybe you can see it from the picture, but this one's more of a warm black. This is a cooler black. And the Tombow dual brush pen one, it's not actually that black. It's kind of like a grayish one, and that's probably because they blend together. So if you write on top of it with like a, let's say a white gel pen, it'll sort of disintegrate into it. And so that's the chisel type. I'm not that good at doing calligraphy with this because you need to decide when you're gonna put the whole chisel and when you're gonna do like half of the chisel. So the next one is this fine point one I have. Now when you do calligraphy with this, it's just going to look like one type, unless you shade in this. So if you don't have a calligraphy pen, you can do this. And of course it takes longer, but also looks kind of good if you want to control how thick your lines are. This one is a Faber-Castell. As you can see, these are really easy to control. They have like a thin tip, so if you just want to make a thin line, or if you want to make a thicker line, you can press it and it doesn't really rake, really. It's more flexible. This one is the Tombow Fudonosuke. I don't actually know how to pronounce that, so if you guys know how to pronounce that, you can tell me. That one's the soft tip, and then the hard tip is this one. So as you can see, the hard tip can make finer lines, and it's harder, so it doesn't make us thick lines. And these are the Copic ones. This is the Copic Small, and this one is sort of like the Faber-Castell one, except this one's even more flexible, so it really bends and you can make super thick lines. And the brush medium should be bigger, but it's not. It does not make as thick lines, and it is stiffer. So as you can see, it is sort of like the one I got in Taiwan, so I kind of like this one too. So those are my favorite type of calligraphy pens. My real favorite ones, my really pens I like are the Fudonosuke and the Tombow brush pens, I'd say, because Tombow brush pens, you can blend them to make something super cool, like this. I wrote marker, then I used 3 different types and blend them, and this is sort of thin paper, so if you want to blend them even better, you can use like thick paper like this. So the next thing I'm doing is the lettering. So I'm just going to use my favorite one, which is probably the brush medium, because it still has a lot of ink right now. So as I said, you want to go thicker when you go down and thinner when you go up. So I'm going to start with an A. Okay, so those are the lowercase letters. And for uppercase letters, it is a bit more hard, but there are way more ways of doing uppercase letters, and of course you can just experiment and see which ones you like. But I'm just going to do a test one with the Tombow Fudonosuke because they do give a different type of look. Okay, so that's basically what it looks like with that. So I'm going to try doing some more advanced calligraphy. I'm going to flip to the next side. Or actually, okay, so now I'm going to compare like more modern cursive and more modern calligraphy and more of the old-fashioned way. So this is sort of the old-fashioned way. So that's what it looks like for the more old calligraphy. Of course, people have different definitions of it. I just think that this way looks more modern. That, as you can see, I sort of exaggerate like the lines and the curves. So now I'm going to be blending while doing calligraphy. So I'm going to pick 3 colors and 3 shades that I like. So I have this dark Tombow dual brush pen, this one, this lighter one, and the light blue one from the pastel set. And first I'm going to use the lightest color because then I can go on top of it. If I use the darkest color first, then of course you can't see it. So I'm just going to use my mechanical pencil and write something. So let's say I want to write hello. And then when that's done, I'm going to go in with my eraser to erase some the pencil marks. Okay, so once I've done that, I'm going to go in with my second color. Just color about 2/3 of this. And then I'm going to go in with my darkest blue I have. Okay, so once you've done that, you can take your blender and try to blend the colors together. Sometimes you need to go in with the blue to help blend it in more. So if you want like a really smooth gradient type of thing, you might want to go in a bunch of times with the lightest blue and the second layer of blue to blend it in with the color before it. But since I don't really need a really smooth gradient, I'm just going to go in with my color mixer. Okay, so once I have that, I can take a pen to decorate it even more. So if you guys like it like this, of course you can leave it like this, but I want to show you guys how you can decorate it even more. So I'm just gonna go in and add some, make this 3D. So the way I'm gonna do that is just gonna draw some lines to make it look like it's popping off the page. And of course you can do this any way you want. You don't have to use lines, you can decorate it any way you want. And I normally don't do brush lettering in my bullet journal. I do more calligraphy because my bullet journal isn't that big, so I don't use this much space up for brush lettering and stuff like that. So I do like doing like smaller calligraphy. And if you guys want to draw an outline so you know how long to make the lines, you can do that. I just did this to give it more of a messy look and to save time. Okay, so once I have that, I think I want to do an outline. So I'm going to do an outline to put more contrast, but I'm not going to outline the lines I'm not going to outline the brush lettering itself because I like how it looks without any outlining. Okay, so there is my word, and I'm just going to add some more decor to it. Okay, so here is my word, and you guys can use many different fonts once you know calligraphy. For example, I'll show you another font. You can do some things like, let's say you're writing hello again. You can use the same thing, except you don't have to do it in a cursive type of thing. Then you know, once you're going up and down, you can know how much pressure to put on it, and you do need to practice a lot. When I started, I used a really bad brush, and I didn't know that it was because the brush itself was bad. So I wasn't that good at brush lettering in the beginning, but then once I got some better brushes, I improved more, because you really need a good brush that's flexible and not like a broken brush that you can't even move. So these were the brushes that I got, and as you can see, they kind of just like, it's not like pointy anymore. It's like, oh, weird. So it's this one. So, and when you write with it, it's just like you can't make thin lines. So you could go like this. This is another type of font where the calligraphy isn't that extreme, but you can't even make like thin lines with this. So make sure you're getting a good brush pen to begin with. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this helped you learn how to brush letter and hand letter and do calligraphy better. I know it took me a while to learn calligraphy, so you guys just keep practicing. If you guys like bullet journaling or art in general, I do lots of videos on art and bullet journaling, so you guys can subscribe and like this video if you liked it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!